we are going to go ahead and talk about the practice annotations assignment using Nearpod. You're going to see something that looks like this inside here. Right now I have my current freshman 9th grade class up, but the other ones are going to be formatted similarly. They all just have different articles. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you actually click on the article, take a look and read it. So you're going through, previewing the title, the pictures, seeing the little part before it, and then working through. Notice that the paragraphs are numbered in these brackets, and then the little numbers at the top will correspond at the bottom of each page and tell you some of the definitions of some of the words, which is helpful. All right, so let's go back and see what we need to do. Here's the first part. You want to talk about the pre-reading, numbering the paragraphs, making it easier for you to basically see what's going on in each paragraph of the piece. So on this part right here, you're just going to see the first 2 paragraphs of the North Korea article or the whichever article you might be looking at. I would recommend using the text button and just numbering them. So we've got paragraph 1. You can adjust the size and then also the size of the text box. And we got paragraph number 2. Again, can adjust anything like that you need. And I'm going to make it a little bit tinier. You can also use the crayon if you wanted to do that. It's just a little less neat. Next slide is asking you to do things during your first read. Circle, define, underline, comment, paraphrase, write, and explain. There's a lot going on here, so it's going to get broken down for you on each of the following slides that you see. So the first one is vocabulary. You want to circle unknown words and define in the margins. So for example, you're going to get another part of the article, a few paragraphs down from what you started with on the last slide. Notice the directions at the top. Circle 2 unknown words or words that you think others may not know. Define the words in the margin to the left, or you can do the bottom if it works. And use any of these tools to help you complete the task. So if you wanted to use the crayon, you can. Let's say maybe we wanted to look at the word lapel, right? If that doesn't work for you, you can even make it skinnier if you'd like. But you can also highlight. Make the highlight a little thicker and do it that way as well. So it's totally up to you on what you might want to do. Make sure that whenever you define, you're doing it over with the text button. You're not going to want to use the crayon to do that, for example. So I'll put this in here. I'm going to make it maybe size 18, and then I would put my definition of lapel here. Whatever I happen to look up. And I can always adjust it so it's in the margins and makes sense. And you do that for 2 words. So you'll have a second one. The next thing when annotating is main ideas. Underline main idea, comment that it's the main idea, and then paraphrase the main idea of each chunked section in the margins. So here's another section of our article about the government and daily life in North Korea. Again, different for different classes. I could highlight the main idea or areas that are main ideas. Something like this, right? Then use my text button over here. And I could put main idea, right? And then I would go ahead and paraphrase. The main idea is whatever I think it would be. And again, let's adjust it by bringing down the size a little bit, maybe even a little more. And keeping it in my margins, I think they said to the left, yes. And if I need, I have a little space down here at the bottom to do the second main idea of the second section. Next, you're going to annotate part of the article with questions and opinions. Write questions or opinions you have in the margins. So here's the next section. You're going to read that. I would use the text box to complete the task. And let's make it smaller. Make sure it fits in that space. The other thing is you can always draw or highlight a place to put it, right? Maybe that's looking specifically there, right? Telling us what we might be typing the question to. Also do opinion, right? So the other thing we could do is our opinion. And same deal as before. All right, the last part is connections. Before we get to the very last part of author's purpose, things that you've read previously, forms of media, plays, songs, poems, personal experiences, or current events. So you'll read the last section, make your connections in the right margin or at the bottom. So you could always highlight a part here. Let's say that came out and you want to make a connection to it, and then you go ahead and type it. So let's go to 14, type connection here. And again, adjust it so that it can be seen. You want to keep it within the space that you're able to see the text for. There we go. Now the last part is the post first read. So after looking at the full article, you want to think about making a sentence that identifies the author's purpose. Generally, we're looking at purposes of informing, arguing, or entertaining. Right, and we have some examples here. This one will allow you to look at the full article again, as well as inside the Canvas assignment. And then here's the question where you're actually going to put in your answer about the author's purpose. Examples are here, and you type your response here. These are reminders that when you actually do annotations for the real TDA, you'll have a digital model, which I'll show you how to use, or you can do it this way in a physical model and upload it. We have the poll at the very end to take. Once you have that, there'll be a submit button and you're ready to go. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help.